Hello everyone. This will be a recap and reaction to Blue Archive's After School Sweet Story, Sweet Secrets and Shootouts. This event is a rerun, so I'm sure a lot of people have already read it, but nonetheless, let's get into it. The story begins with Sensei receiving a call from Kazusa. She wants to meet up with Sensei so she can ask for advice about something that has been troubling her recently. Sensei agrees to meet with her, but asks for more details. Kazusa tries to say it isn't a big deal, but lately she's being stalked by someone. A little later they meet up near a train crossing. Sensei is worried for her, but she explains that her stalker isn't a bad person, and the individual probably isn't even aware that they're acting like a stalker. And while she does want them to stop bothering her, she doesn't want to get them into trouble. Sensei asks for their name, but before she can answer, Uzawa Reisa loudly announces herself and challenges Kazusa to a duel and immediately attacks her. After some running, Kazusa and Sensei manage to escape from Reisa. Once they catch their breath, Kazusa mentions that she can ditch Reisa pretty easily by tricking her into dead ends and climbing over the walls. This, for whatever reason, surprises Sensei, and then they're curious why Kazusa is so good at jumping walls. Kazusa reluctantly begins to talk about her and Reisa's past in middle school. Reisa considered herself an ally of justice, so she would often go against thugs, and that's why she is currently a vigilante crew member. Then Kazusa hands a picture of herself from middle school to Sensei, revealing that back in those days, she used to be a thug. Kazusa and Sensei arrive at school, where she knows Reisa won't cause any trouble. Sensei asks her if she was hiding her past of being a thug, but she mainly just wants to forget about the whole thing because she considers it embarrassing how immature she was and wants Reisa to do the same. Sensei then asks why she quit being a thug. However, this gets Kazusa flustered and defensive. She says it's totally normal for someone to want to change, so Sensei should stop asking her about it and just leave it at that. While she heads to class, Sensei decides to meet up with Suzumi, another member of the vigilante crew. When Sensei mentions Reisa, Suzumi immediately tries to apologize, assuming Reisa caused some sort of trouble. Once Sensei explains the situation, Suzumi tries to get in contact with Reisa, but before she can, Reisa sends her a message asking for backup. Sensei and Suzumi arrive to Reisa's location, but she's already finished dealing with all the thugs. After Sensei introduces themselves, they try to talk about Kazusa, but Reisa goes on a tirade about how evil Kazusa is, and how she could never beat her in middle school, so she considers her her ultimate rival. And she even refers to her with the nickname Calf Pali. Suzumi and Sensei tell Reisa that Kazusa is just an ordinary student now. At first, Reisa is extremely doubtful, but knows that Suzumi and Sensei wouldn't lie to her, even though she's just formally met Sensei a few moments ago. But whatever. It causes her to become confused, so she wants some more time to think about it. And as she is walking away, Sensei notices that she seems a bit disappointed. Sensei goes to visit the After School Sweets Club to see if they know anything about Reisa and Kazusa. They witness Reisa and Kazusa get into a fight the other day, and Natsu and Eri understand that they seem to have some sort of history with each other. While Yoshimi gets frustrated and asks why everyone's making a big deal over kids having a few fights. When Sensei makes a comment about Yoshimi still being a kid, she grabs Sensei, which causes the picture that Kazusa gave them earlier to fall out. Yoshimi, Natsu, and Eri are shocked when they realize that the thug in the picture is Kazusa. That evening, Kazusa and Sensei meet up at the train crossing again. Kazusa is surprised to hear that Reisa was able to actually hold a conversation with Sensei, but she's furious when she learns that Reisa is spouting a bunch of nonsense about her. She even considers going into hiding to not have to deal with the embarrassment of people knowing about her past. Sensei thinks her past isn't all that bad, and even a little bit cool, but she says there was nothing cool about being an ignorant thug, and it was pathetic behavior. Kazusa hopes they can convince Reisa that she's no longer like that and get back to having her normal life. The next day, Kazusa and Sensei meet up again. Sensei wants to talk more about Kazusa, even though she wonders why not go talk to Reisa instead. She decides to listen to Sensei, but before they can continue their conversation, Natsu, Eri, and Yoshimi appear, but not as the After School Sweets Club. Oh no. Now they're the After School Sweets Gang. Kazusa is confused why they're acting this way, but they explain they only did this so she could be more comfortable around them. Unfortunately, Reisa sees all this and immediately challenges the After School Sweets gang, and they accept without hesitation. While they fight, Kazusa is left overwhelmed with the whole situation. The girls easily beat Reisa, which is a bit unfair to say since it was 4 against 1, and not to mention Sensei was helping them for some reason. But before the girls continue to act like a gang, Kazusa gets fed up with them and tells them to stop. He appreciates them trying to support her, but they're only making her life more stressful because she wants absolutely nothing to do with the things she did or the people she knew from her past, and hopes they can just act like they never learned about any of it. Kazusa walks off, leaving the girls silent. Reisa, who they thought was unconscious, heard everything Kazusa said. She slowly gets up and quietly leaves. Eri thinks about going to her, but Yoshimi and Natsu tell her it's best to leave her alone for now. Later that day, Sensei asks Reisa to meet up so they can talk. Reisa did some checking and learned that Kazusa really isn't a thug anymore, and is just living her life like an ordinary student. And since she doesn't want anything to do with her past, she'll stop bothering her. As they're talking, a group of thugs approached Reisa. They ask her if she knows where they can find Casper League and the After School Sweets gang. Reisa tries to tell them that that person is no longer a thug, but they don't believe her, so they try to force her to talk. With some help from Sensei, Reisa beats the thugs. She finds it sad that Kazusa now sees her as just a bad memory from her past, but she knows that more thugs are going to be after Casper League now because of her rumors, so she vows to handle it herself, so Kazusa can finally erase her past. Reisa gives Sensei a challenge letter to give to Kazusa. She's sure she will understand that it means she won't bother anymore. Some explosions can be heard in the background, so she decides it's time to leave and deal with the thugs. Sensei meets with Kazusa and gives her the challenge letter from Reisa, telling her she won't be bothering her anymore. Kazusa seems relieved, but also has some mixed emotions about the news. She then asks if anything happened to Reisa, since Sensei decided to contact her so late at night. When Sensei tells Kazusa about Reisa going to fight the thug all by herself, she decides to go after her. Sensei and the After School Sweets Club members arrive to an area on the outskirts of the district, where they make an explosive entrance to help Reisa. Unfortunately, Reisa gets left unconscious from the explosion, and then Natsu introduces Kazusa as Casper League, and the other members, including Sensei, as the 4 Dark Devas of Destruction of the After School Sweets gang, and then they start their fight against the thugs. The girls basically win the fight, but with the sun rising there's a chance the police might show up, so they decide to run away. After they catch their breath, Kazusa sets an unconscious Reisa down on a bench, and leaves the challenge letter with her. She pretends she's only returning it because she has no use for it, but we all know what it actually means. Realizing the girls are hungry after a long night, Sensei decides to treat the girls to some sweets. The next day, Kazusa and Sensei meet up once again. Kazusa reveals what made her want to change and stop being a thug. Apparently, one day, she was walking by a cafe, and she saw a girl inside. The girl was just eating sweets and laughing with her friends, but she looked so happy and content. Kazusa realized she hadn't felt that way before, and wondered if she could also be that happy one day. The reason she wanted to erase her past is because she wanted to be more like the girl she saw that day. But now she realizes she doesn't have to try and be someone else. She can just be herself. Sensei tells her that they're proud of her and announces that her request has been completed. And you'd think that would be the end of it, but we have just a little bit more to go. A little bit later, Sensei and Kazusa arrive at the club room, but they get surprised to learn that Reisa is also there. Yoshimi and Natsu have been telling her a bunch of nonsense about Kazusa. Kazusa tells them to stop because Reisa will actually believe them, but it's already too late. And the story ends with Reisa challenging Kazusa / Casper League to another duel. And that's the end of the recap. Hopefully you enjoyed the story as much as I did. Honestly, I was a bit surprised because after hearing the music for this event, I thought it was just going to be primarily like a comedic story, and it was for the most part. But it ended up having a lot more, sad, emotional parts than I originally thought it was going to. My favorite scene is probably Kazusa talking about why she changed. For some reason, her saying a very simple event changed her life. I don't know, I just thought it was nice. Also, I don't know if they used Aries' silhouette as just a placeholder or if it's actually Aries who's supposed to be in that flashback, but either way, I liked it. Also, I didn't know Kazusa had so many expressive faces. And it was fun seeing all those throughout the story. But anyway, with all that being said, if you didn't like the video, thanks for watching anyway. But if you did, it would be greatly appreciated if you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But more importantly, be safe. Bye bye.